Hey YouTube, Darren here. Gonna be kind of a lazy day. Gonna do some updates, let you know what's going on a couple of things. We're gonna do some shout outs too. And today, in getting this thing ready to go, I noticed it was kind of hard to crank the other day. And then I got to looking at the fuel lines, and right here it was sitting about like that. So I'm drawing a vacuum right there, so that's what was taking it so long to crank up. So we're going to replace all these fuel lines right here, and then we're going to see what else we got time to do as far as pulling stuff off of that Cub Cadet. And I'll show you. That's what let go, and boy, when it let go, it let go. That was something else. So hoping maybe I can make that piece of shroud out of some just thin gauge sheet metal and bend it around, and I have another fan that I can bolt under it. So alright, now let's spin you around here. Sulphur City Designs for all your off-road mower modding and stickage needs. Can't beat them. Good guys. The sale ends today. Custom work decals, t-shirts, hoodies, you name it, they can get it. Southern Off-Road Motors is on Facebook, guys. Go to it, post some junk, join up. We love it when you do. You don't have to though. Still go look at it. Lakesider Ranch, thanks for subscribing, man. I appreciate that. Jumer Bordomo, I think I pronounced that correctly. I hope so. Thanks for subscribing, man. I appreciate it. Eddie Camarina, thank you for subscribing. Hunter Williamson, thanks for subscribing. And Stan Osterhout, thanks for adding me on that Google Plus there, man. I appreciate it. And thanks for everybody for sharing. Jordan Skillen, thanks for sharing. Devin Dampler, man, thanks for sharing all those freaking videos. I appreciate that. O2 Warrior, thanks as well. Lone Gone, thanks for sharing. Jim Rawlings, thanks for sharing. Jim Ford, Lone Man, down there. Gilbert Cruz, thanks for sharing. Gilbert, send me an email of that carburetor float, and I'll look and see if I have any in my junk pile. You know what I'm talking about. Rob's Pack and Shine, thanks, man. I appreciate all the shares. And Nate Wilson as well, thanks for all the shares, Nate. I appreciate it. Alright guys, let me get a setup on the tripod. Okay guys, you can see that is what was causing the problem with the slow crank, because it was just sitting on there. So what we're going to do, going to go ahead and bolt this guy on there, and then we will run all of the new lines just to get it ready. Alright guys, more now. If you haven't done a lot with these fuel pumps, this is a Makuni. I'll spin you around and show you, just like the carburetor. You might be able to see it. It's right there, M-I-N-U-K-I. And this fuel pump, here's a B. So, when you have a gas tank that's further away or lower, a lot of times the fuel pump will help boost it. I mean, I could put a bottle up here or a jug up there, and it would do a gravity fed just as fine. But this one has the gas tank right above the axle. So it's got the fuel pump on it. This is not the original fuel pump on it. This came off of a pressure washer that I got in that was busted up, and it was a Honda pressure washer. So what I'm going to do is going to bolt this guy on, and then we're going to start running the hoses. You just pretty much follow the arrows. You've got to be careful though. Some of these don't have arrows. Some of them are actually blocks that you can take apart and replace the diaphragm. This one is pretty much a disposable one. So you have a little inlet arrow here, outlet here. It's going to be for your vacuum, and you just kind of run it through. So I'm replacing hoses now. What we've gotten done so far. This is the fuel line going to the gas tank, and what I did, I took about close to an inch. I had plenty of it, and trimmed it off just to give me a fresh edge. That one was kind of frayed and cracked, and had marks on it where the little spring clamp had been on it for so long. So just to give it a fresh place to grip, I went ahead and trimmed it back. I like these big filters like this. You can actually see they are directional. It's got a little point, little airs on it usually, and you can kind of follow them up where you need to go. And then this guy is going to go right in here. Let me tip the camera up a little bit so you can see. There we go. This guy's going to go up in here. So we're just going to get everything kind of measured. That's what we took off. But I am going to make it a little bit longer. So we'll probably do something like that. And then run the other piece of hose into there. And then we will work on this piece. More to come, guys. Okay, guys, now you can see I used small worm clamps on this since I had the problem with this guy leaking. I replaced the line and I used worm clamps on that, so that should take care of the problem. I use worm clamps on the builds that I take out in the woods and play. Just it's less likely, in my opinion, to ever get jarred loose or get pulled out. Now, this is the last piece that we've got to do, and this guy will be finished. We're using the clamps. I like the fact that they had braided hose on it. Right there. Alright guys, more to come. And that is the last piece that I had on there. I went ahead and put in the last bolt as well. And now it runs in there. Guess I need to crank it up. There we go. Now, let's see how it does. I went ahead and put a little bit of fuel, primed it all up into here. Muffler in the shroud rattling like that. I can't stand that. I had to adjust the carburetor a little bit and tweak it, but now I've got that rattle. Let's go ahead and just pull that off. Okay guys, now we're back. That's the hole in the muffler. But we got that shroud off. That was what was making all that damn terrible rattling sound. And most importantly, while you got this thing running, and you're inside, make sure you got a way to evacuate the fumes. We're about to cut it off now, and I'm going to leave the building for a while and let the four fans clear everything out. But I want to look at that muffler when it cools off, so more to come. Now let me cut this other fan off real quick. There we go. Now we can hear a little bit better. So, took that piece off. Turns out this piece is rattling too, and I think the baffle inside the carburetor, inside the muffler, is rattling as well. I've got a hole in it here and here. I could probably weld that up, but that would still give us that rattling sound from that baffle. So what I'm going to do is just take that muffler off. And I was eyeballing it while I've got it down at this point. I was looking at these front mounting brackets for the that hold the deck, and those are actually welded in place. They did a good job building this thing, because a lot of them are just bolted in. And but sad to say, what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to cut these guys off and right here and right here and get all this vibrating stuff off of it. And go ahead and do some type of muffler. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with the motor, but as it is, I'll just make it where I can adjust and add to whatever. But while I've got it down here and I'm going to take the muffler off, might as well go ahead and start looking at extending this out, doing a bumper, putting the muffler in that insert right there, or running it all the way out the back and putting the winch on. So that's kind of where we sit with this. I know I got kind of sidetracked, but that rattling was driving me crazy. So gonna end it here now. Gonna go inside and have lunch, do the editing. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for all the comments, and thanks for subscribing. Thanks for sharing as well. I really appreciate that.